Building a personal brand can feel pretty difficult and confusing. You see everyone around you being successful with theirs, but you don't really understand how to build yours. Without having a system, a framework, a blueprint for understanding what steps you need to take and where you need to focus your attention, it can feel overwhelming. And a lot of times people just don't build personal brands because of it. And so that's why I have new guests on my Personal Brand Blueprint podcast every week come on, give us skills, tactics of how they built their personal brands and how we can learn the skills to build ours as well. And what I do is have these people come on, tell their stories, tell their unique methods, and then drive the audience to a offer that they can opt into their services. And so now what I'm doing is I'm actually going to start breaking down those interview podcast episodes and deconstructing the guests, the thought leaders, the professionals that I bring on and see what are they doing to make their personal brand so successful, but also some tips and tricks that are part of my personal brand blueprint strategies that they could implement themselves and help improve their personal brands as well. So last Tuesday, I had on Jorge Medina, and we had a great conversation about how to craft a visual identity. And so today, what we're going to do is I'm going to break down that interview with Jorge. And what we're going to learn today is, let me just get out my trusty pen here as I'm getting real fancy with the technology these days. So what we're going to learn today is, one, how to win the trust of your audience. This is going to be how to tell your story, how to tell unique methods within your podcast episodes, but also within your content, your newsletters, etc. What elements need to be part of that story in order to win the trust of your audience. Secondly, we're going to learn how to convert that audience into leads, because you can earn the trust of your audience, but you still need them to take an action. You still need them to give you their information in order for them to become a lead, to show interest. Lastly, we're going to learn how to turn those leads into ready-to-buy prospects, because we can have a leads list that never makes a purchase. So it's very important that we take that leads list and figure out how do we convince and convert that lead list so that we can actually turn that into revenue and actually impact people's lives. So first and foremost, who am I? I'm Dave Polikoff. You may have seen me on the previous episodes of Personal Brand Blueprint as the host. Now I am stepping into more of the solo spotlight here to let you know exactly what the Personal Brand Blueprint exactly is. So I have been a digital marketer for over 14 years, been a part of many branding content startups, digital marketing startups, launched everything from website development agencies to content agencies, and now I work with individuals, coaches, consultants, agency owners on growing their personal brands. And through those 14 years, I've worked with hundreds of other coaches, consultants, agency owners in helping them brand themselves, create authoritative content, build websites that convert leads into customers. And now I'm here to do the same for you. So what the fuck is the Personal Brand Blueprint? So this is my janky graph here of what's in my head as to how to describe the Personal Brand Blueprint. So first and foremost, what we want to look at is up here. This is your synonymous statement. This is your core concept that you want to be related to, that you want to be synonymous with. This is the thing that when people think of this thing, they automatically think of you. It is the problem you're solving. It is the mission that you're on. It is the why statement for those people who are Simon Sinek fans. So this is your, you can call it the why, you can call it the core concept, but essentially it all starts with this. This is the umbrella concept to your personal brand. And then we need to develop your brand, your funnel, and your content around this core concept. Because when everything is in alignment, there is a consistency in branding, consistency in message, and consistency in delivering that message through content that you create, stories that you tell, etc. So first and foremost, we need to develop that core concept, that core why, that core mission statement, if you will. What is it that you're trying to help your audience achieve? And then we craft your brand around that. We create a sales funnel that supports it, and then we create and promote content that demonstrates it, and through storytelling and other means, which we'll get into. When we do that consistently, that then drives people to an interested prospect and eventually into a client, because they are seeing firsthand what it is you have to offer. They're seeing the credibilities behind why you are the person who should be offering that. And they're seeing it consistently to the point where they're starting to realize through your content that, yes, this person not only knows my pains, but they have a solution to solve my pains. And the strategies behind that is what we'll get into more deeper today. So that is the quick and dirty version of what the personal brand blueprint actually is. So on today, I'll move this down. Today, we are going to go through the episode I had with Jorge Medina, which was how to create a standout visual brand identity. And there's a few things that we need to make sure we identify first about that episode. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll plug it somewhere up here. So I'll figure out the tech of how to do that. So go check out the episode I had with Jorge first, and so you can understand who his backstory, what his backstory is, what he actually does, etc. But I'm going to break that down for you here in case you don't want to go check that out first. So, who is Jorge? Jorge Medina is the co-founder of Easybranding.io. Now, he's a co-founder. He's a business owner, entrepreneur, and next is the what. What actually is Easybranding? Easybranding.io is a plug and play. It's a software for brand designs. So what this product does is, instead of messing around with Canva, who has tons of templates, and trying to figure out what your brand identity is, this tool helps you craft a visual brand identity easily, and then gives you the templates, the plug and play templates, so that once you have the elements of your visual brand design, then it allows you to easily create LinkedIn headers or carousel templates and social posts and things like that. So it's very simple, easy to use, but also powerful in the sense of keeping your brand consistent. Who is it for? It is for entrepreneurs, content creators, and small B2B companies that need consistent branded content but lack design skills. So again, this is a tool to help you look like your favorite creator on LinkedIn, who they look like they have some sort of design team behind them. And this is allowing you to have the consistency and the quality of those types of brand designs without actually having a full team behind you. You just have this powerful software, powerful but simple software. So again, going back to this idea of, we need to figure out what is the core concept behind Jorge's brand identity, behind his personal brand, that he needs to then funnel all of his branding, his funnel, and his content behind. And that really just comes down to democratizing quality brand design, right? And we even use the word democratizing in the episode itself. But the idea is, pain point of his client: I want to look like the big boys, the professional designers, the top influencers in terms of the visual identity, but I know nothing about design. I know nothing about techniques, and I don't want to hire someone to do it. This tool allows you to do all of that without needing the professional designers and resources and to learn how to Photoshop and all that stuff. So it's democratizing this quality brand design industry. Look like your favorite creator without needing to spend all that time learning how to actually design like your favorite creator. So this is the core concept. Again, this is the thing here that everything needs to now funnel under, because his ideal client suffers with a problem of desiring to have those brand designs, but lacks the skill, time, money to be able to do that. And so they need a solution that allows them to fill the gap there. And that can be broken down into this visual aspect, right? Now we're applying the personal brand blueprint to this concept. So let's look at, here is, let me, all right. So this is Jorge's offer. It is the tool that allows non-design skilled entrepreneurs who don't have a lot of money and time to be able to look like his clients' favorite content creators. And that is mixed with his client's desire to be able to achieve that. In the middle is his core concept, which is where his brand, his funnel, and his content needs to focus again, right? So what is brand? Brand is your story. It's your story. It's the methods and philosophies and beliefs and resources that you include in your offer, and it's the credibilities behind who you are. So all of these things need to support his idea of, I'm here to democratize brand design, visual brand design. Next is his funnel, right? So he should have a lead magnet that supports this concept. He should have a long form video, a video sales letter, a lot of time is what it's referred to, that again demonstrates the story and his methods and his beliefs and his offer that support this concept. And everything that's within his DMs and his sales calls, again, he is expressing this concept so that people go, okay, I have this problem. I can tell you're here to solve it. Lastly, it is content, long form video that supports it. So social content and all of his emails need to support this core concept of democratizing quality brand design. So let's start with the brand. Again, the brand is the story, methods, and credibility, right? So when I spoke with Jorge on my last podcast interview with him, there was a moment within our interview where he mentioned that he was consistently publishing branded AI content. So he was in this AI software space, and he was involved with software product development, and he was trying to promote this AI tool that he was building. And so he would publish content around that AI tool consistently in order to build a personal brand to attract people to that tool. And in that process, people were reaching out and saying, how are you doing that? How are you staying so consistent with your content? And your content looks really great and professional. Yeah, that's cool with the AI thing, but how are you actually doing the designs for the AI thing, right? So he was finding market demand just based on his consistency and his quality of his brand design, right? So this was proving through his story that he was seeing a need and seeing people look to him as a solution for the problem that he was having, or that they were having. And I want to play, I have a clip of it from the episode I'm going to jump to. And yeah, hopefully we can hear this. Ready? Well, this is the moment in the episode that demonstrated this.
Of Easybranding, precisely because I was sharing my journey. So before Easybranding, I was building a different product, an AI thing. But because I was being so consistent with my own personal brand, the small audience that I was growing kept asking me about first if I had a designer, because I was fitting the profile of a tech entrepreneur rather than a designer, as I was building an AI product. And it was how I was doing the design and how I kept it being so consistent and so prolific, because I was posting a lot of content and all of it was very on brand. And what I was doing basically was applying the design system thing.
So here, he's saying, I was trying to market this AI tool that I had, and I was publishing this content consistently, and it was of high quality. And I was finding a market demand. People were saying, "Hey, I have this problem. I need that." So a great moment in his story that he highlighted here that demonstrates the credibility and even the empathy for for his ability to create a product that that solved a problem of his audience. Next, we want to talk about his methods. So again, one of the strategies within the personal brand blueprint is to guest podcast on uh, podcast shows. And while you're on there, you're telling your story, you're telling your unique methods, your beliefs, you're adding credibility into your personal brand through the events that you're mentioning and the recognitions that you've received in order to earn that trust, right? So going back to one of our goals for today here, how to win trust from your audience, and this is how you're doing it within your brand story. You're talking about what are the moments within your story that people were looking to you for answers, right? That's where you're now looked at as an authority because you're mentioning about times that people came to you to solve their problem. Additionally, you want to look at the methods that you have, proven methods that you have, and how you came up with those methods. And this is again storytelling. What events did you go through that allowed you to come up with this unique method that has now worked for you and now work for other people? And a great example of this is he starts to talk about it right after this was how Jorge came from a product design and development background. And part of that process is this design framework that is used in product development. And there's, I guess, systems and frameworks and such to help software design look good. And I'll let Jorge explain here in a second, but essentially he used that same framework from his software development days and applied it to personal branding. So let's hear it from him.
We built the MVP in about a month and a half, and immediately after the launch and product hunt,
Oh, I'm sorry. This is it.
thinking, which is used a lot. What I was doing basically was applying the design system thinking, which is used a lot in product design and UI design, and applying it to brand design. So it's sort of mixing the creativity of branding with the systemization of building a scalable product. And but to me it was so obvious, like the efficiencies of it was so obvious that I thought that for sure that somebody else was doing it.
So we can see there, he mentioned he was building an AI product. He comes from a product development background, and then he was using his product UI design framework to then apply to personal branding. And he even thought, "Oh, it's so obvious. Why isn't someone else doing this?" And that's because he was so ingrained already in product development and product design that he thought, "Oh, everyone else must be looking at the same thing like this. Why isn't this is already a tool or a service somewhere, right?" And he found that it wasn't. And so even then you can see he's kind of flexing on the idea of like this was something I was so equipped with that I thought other people were doing it already because it was just came so naturally for me that if it was so easy for me, it must be easy for other people. And he realized that one, there was no solution out there like it, and two, people had no idea about how to accomplish it. They had no idea about product design. These were just coaches, consultant, agency owners who knew nothing about software development, product development, or UI design, or any type of design. And they were raising their hands saying, "Wait, wait, wait, we need this." So a really great concept of flexing on his experience with product development and how he translated that into personal brand visual design. Um, and through this as well, I should note that it's important to flex your credibility, but it's also just as important to discuss or incorporate empathy into your story as well. So, what he talked about with his story was he was creating content consistently, and then people were raising their hand and saying, "Wait, we need to know how you're doing this," right? And in that moment, Jorge says he kind of just passes over the idea that I was doing this, I was crushing it, and people were raising their hands saying, "How do you do this?" And so I thought, okay, I must have something here. What I would say here is what Jorge should also incorporate when he's telling his story is an element of empathy where he should say, in this moment, I realized, wow, I'm such in a kind of almost privileged state due to my experience that I've been able to have this knowledge about design, and this is something that the average person, the average coach, consultant, agency owner, small business owner, it's experience they don't have. And I'm realizing that there is a suffering that this group of people are having because they desire something and they can't reach it. And I have the tools to be able to support that. So it's important that you realize who your audience is, what problems they're going through, and what they're suffering from, and empathize with that and make sure that they understand, "Oh, I get it." Even if it is something like, "Hey, I didn't necessarily have to go through the struggles as much as you are going through right now." It's important you at least let them know that you understand what struggles they're going through. Because when people hear that you understand what they're going through, then it means that you fully understand who they are, what pain points they're going through, and you understand how to solve them. And so it's a balance of credibility and empathy. So one last, speaking of credibility, on his story, one last element here is he talks about how he launched his software product onto a website called Product Hunt, which is it's a respect. If you don't know what Product Hunt is, it's this product forum, this software tool forum and community, and you can post your new software product that you built or a new feature that came out from that software, and people can vote on whether they think it's great or not, essentially. And it's kind of like Reddit with upvotes and downvotes and such. But the more people vote for your product, then you have the opportunity to have the number one product of the day or week or month, and they give out awards for products that do really well in the community. And so this is a really well respected software community, and to get number one product of the day on this community is a big deal for the product development software space, the app, web app, mobile app space. And so this is adding credibility because he's getting a lot of the people that are on this community are smaller entrepreneurs, small business owners who are trying to build products and market themselves and grow their personal brands. And they struggle with looking like their favorite designer or influencer or personal brand. And so they have this need as well. And so to get number one on that forum and community means that it's saying that this is a great respected product. So I'll let Jorge talk about that moment.
Through the launch and product hunt, and like we built the MVP in about a month and a half, and immediately after the launch and product hunt, where we got actual product number one product of the day, we sort of found product market fit because people were buying into the product and they really loved the idea of it, and that's how we found the product market fit and how I found my way into Easybranding.
So again, flexing on the idea of, hey, we built this MVP, which is a minimal viable product. It's product development speak for the first iteration, the first version of a product, and he took that to this respected product hunt community, and everyone loved it, and they got number one product of the day. And he said that's how we found product market fit, which again is product market fit being the offer that you have. People are raising their hand and saying, yes, I want that. And that's mainly what that is. So again, credibility, showing that what he's built has been successful, that people like it. And so if you have an inkling of what Product Hunt is and you hear, oh, we get product of the day, you're like, all right, I have to go check out what this product is. If everyone on Product Hunt is saying it's great, now I need to go check it out. So that is his brand. And again, what we're looking at here, when you're focusing on your brand, you want to always, again, push back to or point back to the core concept, which is um, democratizing quality content, or quality brand design. And he's demonstrating this through a few areas here. One is he found that there was a market demand by people seeing him produce quality brand design consistently, and them saying, we don't have this, I want it, right? And so he saw that there was that need there of people don't have that ability to have quality design. And so he wanted to create a way to democratize it. Um, Another element is this product design background that translated into his framework. Um, what he can say is, yes, again, going back to the empathy part, yes, I have this industry knowledge that's typically gate kept behind being a product developer or product designer. And typically you need to either go to school for that or have worked in a company to understand what this is or have years of experience knowing it. But what I wanted to do was take all of that knowledge that I had and simplify it down into a tool that allows other people to access this framework at a very easy, in an easy fashion, an easy process, which is easy branding. And so I would even harp on that concept more, where it's really push on the idea of this complex system of product design. I'm democratizing that concept down into a very simple tool, an easy branding tool. On his credibility, really great concept of the product hunt point here. I think what we could also point to is so many people raised their hands and it was the number one product of the day that we could even say clearly there's tons of people who are frustrated about not being able to have the design skills that they want in order to look competent, and they are looking for a solution. And so that's why when we got number one product of the day, I knew that there was this large need in the space that needed to be filled. And I knew that there needed to be something we needed to do about it. And so we doubled down on that solution. Really just emphasized the idea of the goal of democratizing quality brand design. It was even more solidified when we got number one product of the day on Product Hunt. So that's his brand. Now let's talk about the funnel, which is, okay, going back to up here, we got, this is how to win the trust of your audience, right? Oops, that's not how we do that. So how to win the trust of your audience, right? Telling your story, showing your unique methods, philosophies, beliefs, and resources, demonstrating your credibility, and all of these things pointing back to your core concept. When you do that effectively, through your content, through guest podcasting, through other means, then you start to earn the trust. You do that on a consistent basis, or you can do that within a 45-minute guest podcast. You're earning the trust of your audience. Now, we want to learn how to convert that audience convert that audience into leads. And that's where the funnel comes in, because we can get an audience interested in what we have to offer, but we need to lead them to something to take the first step. It is the call to action, the CTA, call to action. Call to action. Emphasis on the action, because I think so many personal brands, coaches, consultant, agency owners out there focus on, if I build it, they'll come. If I have a really great offer, people will come buy it. If I publish thought leadership content, people will naturally just come DM me or sign up for my offer. And that's not the case. People need to be told what to do next, what that next step is. They need to be motivated and inspired to take that next step. So the important part here is not promoting yourself through content or through guest podcasting and thinking that just leaving that great impression through your story and your methods and your credibility, that people are just going to be so sold on what you have to say that they're going to go immediately look you up or immediately opt into your offer. You need to help them take that next step. You need to hold their hand and say, here's what the next step is. So that's where the funnel comes into play. And a lot of coaches, consultant, agency owners, entrepreneurs, sometimes who don't have experience with funnels, think that funnels are this icky thing. They think that it's a pushy sales tactic to be a snake oil salesman trying to force you to take an action that you're not ready to take. And that's not the case at all. Same with your content as it is with your funnel. You're adding value and saying, here's value. In exchange for this value, all I want is for you to be able to hear from me on a more consistent personal basis, which means I would like to have your email address so I can stay in touch with you in your inbox. From there, you are directed into, hey, if you liked this lead magnet, which we'll talk about, if you like this small piece of content, then you might be interested in some of the other things that I have that are a little bit more involved, but let me tell you about it. And then you have more longer form content for it. So there's a right and a wrong way to do funnels. And I am of the mind, my philosophy is it's less about forcing something down people's throats and more about introducing them to who you are and what you have to offer and new ways of thinking. And that's all it is, but it's a systemized way of doing that. So for the funnel, what we want to look at here is at the end of, if you're guest podcasting and you've sold the audience on who you are and what your offer is, at the end of the episode, the host is going to say, this has been a great talk. Is there somewhere people can find you or learn more about your offer? What do you have here to pitch? They're giving you the mic to say, the floor is yours. Tell us where people should go. And at this moment, this is one of the, if not most critical moments of the guest podcast, is you need to direct the audience to something of value that is in support of your core concept, right? This core concept here and this core concept. So going back to here, they say if this is the timeline of the episode, basically there's an introduction here, and then you have about maybe 50% of the episode, it's your story, and then maybe 48% of the rest of the episode is methods and credibility, and then that last 2% of the episode is where you have to promote yourself and lead people to the next step, that call to action. And you can do all of this stuff really, really well. And maybe someone will go check you out afterwards. Like, oh, who was this person? Let me check out the show notes, blah, blah, blah. But really you want to crush this part because this will drive people to take the next action and stick in people's minds. So let's look at what Jorge had as his call to action, and then we'll break down um, ways that that can be optimized. What should they know about what what you offer, and then where should they go first to kind of interact with you and figure out more information about you?
Yeah, so right now my main channel is LinkedIn because that's where most of the B2B business is located, right? So it's just on LinkedIn at Jorge Medina Castillo, which is my full name. And but they can also go directly and check easybranding.io, where everything is linked, and I have case studies to see identities that I've worked with, and anybody can try the app for free, by the way. So they can get started like that. And yeah, that's pretty much. I'm also now very recently on Blue Sky, uh, but I'm not really posting there. We'll see how that works. I let
The
go
Blue
of
Sky.
X.
So, a few things with that. First, what is most important is your call to action needs to be fully focused on one step, one thing. In Jorge's case, he mentioned his LinkedIn, he mentioned the website, Easybranding.io, and then he even brought up Blue Sky. Now, if you are listening to that, you feel a little bit like, where should I go? Which one of those is the next step I should take? Which one is, do I have a LinkedIn even? Or what value do I get by following you on LinkedIn? And there's three options, and in each option there's a kind of a description of what what his profile was or what's on that thing or whatever. And so between those options, you're also forgetting about the previous one. So by the end, there's a psychological concept out there where we remember the beginning and the end of things. If you think of speeches, you remember how the speech started and you remember how it ended, and maybe a little things in the middle there if they really stood out. But mostly we just remember the beginning and ending of things. So if you mention 3, 4, 5 different ways that people can get a hold of you, they're really only going to remember the first one, LinkedIn, and you started to talk about Blue Sky, right? I've never heard of that thing. What is that? Yada, yada. And you're losing them. And our idea here is we have the audience on our hook. Now we just need to pull and reel them in to a core lead magnet. So in this case, instead of directing them to LinkedIn, to Easy Branding, to Blue Sky, we want to find one core lead magnet where the lead magnet is something under the core concept, under, oops, if I can now find it, under democratizing quality brand design. That is what our lead magnet needs to be about. So throughout the entire podcast, he convinced us that there is a solution that he has that helps democratize. If I am a coach, consultant, agency owner, small business owner, entrepreneur that wants to have a quality, professional, visual brand identity, so I can look like the top personal brands that I follow, but I don't have the design skills, but there is a solution out there that'll allow me to do that easily. I'm now bought into that idea and hungry and drooling for more. And this person that I just listened to for 45 minutes is on a mission to democratize quality brand, visual brand design, and support people like me. I'm bought into that. Now, give me the first taste towards being able to accomplish that for myself through a lead magnet that supports that. What's the first step that I can take? So that is how you want your call to action to be at the end of your content, at the end of guest podcast appearances. You want people to get on the hook, and then you want to reel them in by giving them a first taste of um, what that why is, what your mission is. So that's one element of the final call to action, I would say, is make it one simple thing, and a great format for how to deliver that is you start with my audience struggles with why. So I built N or A X that I'm giving away for free, right? So at the end of it, hey, is there anything that people can learn more about? And you say, absolutely. Thank you for having me on today. As we talked about today, my core audience and probably some people that are listening today are struggling with building their personal brand. They're struggling with relying on referrals as their number one source for driving new clients into their business, and which is causing them. You can even add that on as well. Struggling with why, which causes X, right? They're struggling to have a consistent new client acquisition system, relying on referrals. Their revenue is inconsistent, which is causing them to fear going out of business or going back to a W-2 employment job somewhere else. And so what I did is I actually built a personal brand blueprint course that walks them through the three-step process in how to craft a standout brand, turn that into a client acquisition system through a sales funnel, and then drive qualified leads into that sales funnel. And the best part is it's completely free. So if anyone listening is interested in that, best way to learn more about me and what I do is to go to davepoly.blah blah blah. Right. So make the URL simple, easy to remember. But again, recap what you just talked about in the podcast and say, like we talked about today, these are the struggles that people are facing. As you saw, I'm a credible person within this industry. I empathize with the problem. Not only have I created these unique methods that people pay me for, but I also created a tool, a template, a lead magnet for free that people can use as a first step to solving their problems today. So if that relates to anyone listening, definitely check out blah, 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 blah. And I'll show you in a second how we can use that lead magnet to actually benefit ourselves in multiple ways than just capturing a lead, right? So on that note, that's the call to action at the end of your content. It should be at the end of your social posts, newsletters, guest podcasting, anything. This is your next step. This is your call to action. This is how people can get further into your funnel. So in the funnel, part of that process is your profile, your LinkedIn profile for my business to business, coaches, consultants, agency owners who LinkedIn is your main source of finding new clients. For some of you, it might be Instagram, et cetera, but your profile needs to be optimized. So let's go check out Jorge's. Oh, speaking of that, he just messaged me. Check out Jorge's profile and see, is this optimized around the idea of um, quality visual brand design, democratizing quality brand visual design. And header, helping entrepreneurs and SMBs stand out with branding, building the tech to make it easy and efficient. Try Easybranding.io. I think there's ways to optimize that. Again, around, democratizing uh, quality brand visual design is a bit wordy. Even, we can break that down and simplify it even to like just kind of caveman brain it in terms of um, look like your favorite personal brand, visual brand, look like your favorite brand's visual identity or something, with a few clicks, essentially. That concept, like the idea of look like you have a $10,000 design team behind you in a few clicks. That's really what you want. What is you know that your ideal client or customer's pain point is they want to look like they have a $10,000 design team behind them, and they want it to be consistent, and they want to look professional. Take that desire and say, do this in a few clicks for $14.99 a month or whatever, right? You don't even have to give the price, but for the price of 2 lattes per month, that type of thing. That's what we want to demonstrate in our header. Effective scalable branding for entrepreneurs and SMBs, building easybranding.com. Again, effective scalable branding for entrepreneurs. I don't think that is the core. This is from an outsider's perspective, but I don't think effective and scalable is the words that are really making people go, I need to look into this. I think, again, going back to what your core audience's desires are is have a sexy visual brand identity without the sexy visual brand identity, pricing, time, commitment, and etc. Get dream desire for a few clicks, within a few clicks. That's what you want to emphasize. Or even you can make your mission statement here. Um, I'm making professional visual brand identities easy and accessible for everyone. That also would work as well. So we want to go down and look at the featured section. So the featured section is where you are promoting this call to action. This is your funnels part, right? You're promoting your call to action. And we have here 3 separate options. One is a brand discovery call. This goes to easybranding.io, and this goes to his newsletter. What I would do instead, and this goes back to what I was mentioning about how one thing can lead into multiple actions. Instead of having those 3 options, which he had, call, the website, and then the newsletter, right? Instead of having those 3 options there to choose from, have one option that is your lead magnet. It is a gift, and it is something that helps people take the first step or try or demo your product. So in this case, he has a software product, which means his first step could be to design your LinkedIn header image for free. Optimize your profile with a few clicks for free right now. So that would allow them to demo the product. They'd go to the website, and because they'd already be at that, be on the website to do that. They'd also, in order to do that, so this would be, click on this lead magnet, go to the web page where they can create a header image. But in order to do that, they have to add in their email address and submit their email address. And then when they submit their email address, or they create their header, we could say, great, the header, they go through, design their header, it looks great, and they say, in order to download the header, enter in your email address and we'll email it to you. So great, they enter their email address. Sometimes this thing is a little buggy. They enter their email address and they get an email that includes the header they created. But in order to receive it first, they have to opt in to receiving emails from Easybranding.io. So now they demoed the product, which is up here. They went to the website and they understood what the product was. And then they opted into the newsletter, into being a subscriber of Easybranding in order to receive that demo, receive that header that they created. So that's the newsletter. And then secondly, after they've entered their email address and it goes to the next page, which says, great, congrats, header's on its way. In the meantime, check out the systemized way, check out this quick demo video of how to now translate what you just built into carousel templates and quote cards and infographics and cover photos and YouTube thumbnails and yada yada. Figure out how to completely do what you just did, but amplify it across all of your social channels. Quick demo video to show you how you can do that in a few steps. Or if you want to, and then at the end, you can, Jorge talks about how he has a service that he provides where he creates custom brand identities versus just using the templates that are on his website. So if he wanted to promote that upsell at this point, he could also say, check out ways to professionalize yourself even further with a custom branded identity and the value of that, or this case study of how someone, yada yada, whatever the angle is there. Watch this video, understand who I am, understand what my design philosophies are, my skills are, my credibility is, and then if you want a custom branded brand visual identity, click here and book a call with me to talk about amplifying your online presence and credibility with a custom branded visual identity that works in conjunction with Easybranding.io, right? Because he creates these brand visual identities, then he puts it into the tool to help you still streamline and create that content. So book a call, and that goes to a calendar where you can book a time with him and figure out what his services are. So now, book a call. So we're looking at funnel, right? And that's what this is. You are, instead of having these three options, you're simplifying it down to one. And you're saying, here's the next step you should take. If I convinced you that that there's a way to create a strong visual brand identity with a few clicks, here's your first step in being able to do it for free. Now, test drive the product, understand, get the idea, oh, wow, I can really create this powerful LinkedIn header with a few clicks using Easybranding. I totally get it. You're getting that aha moment. Now I want to download that header. Well, just opt into you just have to confirm that you are okay with receiving future emails from us where we'll give you more templates in the future, maybe for free, and that's what your newsletter is, etc. And so people are like, for sure, would totally love more free stuff in the future. I also want this free thing I just built right now. And they opt into receiving emails from you so that they can get their header. But they also now are receiving future emails in the newsletter. And you gave them that value and you promised future value. So you direct them to this, hey, congrats, here's your header's on its way. In the meantime, Here's an opportunity to explore further about what easy branding is, about who I am, about what I can provide you, and even have you thought about a custom branded um, brand visual identity? Well, learn what that looks like through this video here, and then if that's of interest, book a call with me, and you get this whole process there, simplified, streamlined, and you're knocking all these things out within one funnel. So that's the power of a funnel, right? Instead of going back here, instead of trying to decide, oh, which one do I want? Am I even ready for a call? What do I get out of a newsletter? All this stuff. You're making the process easy by giving them one option. Take that first step, right? So that's the funnel. We're covering a lot today, right? So we come back up here, and so we've talked about how to win the trust of your audience through the credibility, your story, your unique methods, philosophies. Now we're converting them into leads, converting them through our lead magnet, through our funnel. Now, how do we turn those leads into ready to buy prospects? And that's the key element here, ready to buy, because a lead can still be a very cold lead. Oh, I just wanted the header. I wasn't really interested in opting into a couple $1,000 custom service. But there are ways to continue to nurture people into realizing that they do need more services, more of what you have to offer, and that the value you've provided so far can get them from 0 to 3. But if they need to get to 10 in order to be successful, there's still a lot of steps involved there that you can help them achieve, and help them achieve it much quicker than if they try to do it themselves. So the next step then is content. Content is your way of nurturing these interested prospects and staying with them, continuing to demonstrate your credibility, your expertise, your story, and your unique methods, and what separates you, your differentiators. So if I'm Jorge, and I was just on the Personal Brand Blueprint podcast, and I now know what I need to express my story, my credibility, and such in a better way to not only show that I have the skill set and credibility to support my ideal clients' needs, but also have the empathy for what their problems are, and I'm here on a mission to help you solve that. And then I am driving them into a funnel, a lead funnel, with the call to action I have at the end of that episode. I'm taking those new learnings, that system that I now understand, and I am applying it to as many guest podcasting episodes as I can that are correlated to these following categories. So these are the types, the industries, the categories of guest podcasts that Jorge should be focused on guest podcasting on in the future. And as a note, the episode that we had together was actually Jorge's, I believe what he said was his first guest podcast appearance. So honored that he had that on the Personal Brand Blueprint podcast, but also I think he crushed it for it being his first podcast. So I have confidence in him that he can now go on to other guest podcasts and replicate that success. So the industries, the categories of guest podcasts that I would recommend would obviously be more personal branding related, people that want to grow a personal brand, care about how they look online and their visual brand identity, obvious, marketing related ones in general, digital marketing. These might be digital marketing managers who either want to build their own personal brand or are helping others build online presences and presences. And so some of what you need to think about is it's not just client, coach to client. Think about it might be coach to coach who then uses it to support their clients, right? Especially for software products. More in entrepreneurship. Again, these are solopreneurs. These are people who are out there grinding, looking for new tools and softwares and resources to help them build their empire. Small business growth. These correlated to the exact people that need his service. These are people who typically have like small agencies or are just small teams that are scrappy and looking for solutions. And then social media, social media examiner, people that uh, are really focused on just dominating social, and besides like hashtag hacks and all that kind of stuff, like how do I look great on social media. And then that's your guest podcasting process, again using the personal brand blueprint framework for how to present yourself on that. uh, and then YouTube, this is for Jorge to start creating YouTube content. Right now, I believe when I last checked, it didn't look like he had a YouTube channel right now. I would create one as soon as possible and get that long form video content, time on content started as soon as possible. So, some of the topics to focus on: design best practices. So, the thing with people who don't have any understanding of how to look great online is we don't know what looks good. We don't know. We try to go into Canva and craft a visual design that we think reflects our brand, but we don't know the design principles to ensure that it looks good. Even Canva templates we can screw up, and there's too many elements that are moving around, and we can delete, and we don't know brand theory and all that stuff. So design best practices. How do we make sure we're not screwing up our visual brand visual identity? Next is, and what this is doing is it's leading people. This is more, if we're looking at the funnel, right? There's top of funnel, tofu, top of funnel, middle of funnel, mofu, and bottom of funnel. I know people have their opinions on if the funnel system, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, is even a thing that people should focus on, but there's a foundation of truth to this concept. Top of funnel, people don't even know that your product exists, but they are looking for solutions that are correlated with your product. Um, Meaning they maybe are using Canva and they want to get better at understanding what good design looks like, right? So that's what, let's say, that's what this is doing. Design best practices, top of funnel. You're finding people who want to look good online, want to have good design, and they're discovering who you are that way. Next is brand makeovers. And basically, it's where you find someone. I would say go look on LinkedIn, look for people who are small business owners, your ideal client, and trying actively, consistently to have that online presence, that visual brand design, but are struggling. And so, what you do is you take their profile and their content, put it through the machine of easybranding.io, and show how the before and after, the makeover of here's what they've been trying to do, and here's how they can be doing it using easybrand.io. And that's more middle of funnel content. This is people who can clearly understand now how that this tool exists and how to use this tool to reach their desires, their goals. Last is trending designs. This is more of, I think, more middle funnel, top of funnel type content. But the idea being that if you want to look like your favorite creator, here's some things that are going on with the types of designs that they're creating and what's popular, and how you can use Easy Branding IO to create that. So those are just a few strategies for YouTube that you can be creating to really start to attract. And again, through this process, we are demonstrating our story and our credibilities and everything through the content, which is all things I work with my clients on through personal brand blueprint strategy that I offer. So next is for social content. Again, similar brand makeovers. If your key channel is LinkedIn, find LinkedIn profiles and publish and create these brand makeover stories of here's someone who's trying to be successful with their visual identity. Here's how they could be doing that with Easy Branding IO. Case studies. This is times that people have come to Jorge to help them craft a quality professional brand identity and visual brand identity, and the before and after again of that, but specifically a client of theirs and the results that came from the makeover. And then personal stories. So again, the things that are part of the stories that he's telling on guest podcasts, chopping that up and finding the nuggets that help support that credibility and empathy towards his core mission, which is democratizing quality visual brand identities. So that's his social strategy. And again, there's a lot more to that, but those are things that I'll provide more support on and templates on in the future. And lastly is email. He has that newsletter, which is great. What I would do is then say you can get one social template for free in each issue, and that way it makes people want to keep subscribing or being not unsubscribe because they want to get that free thing the next issue. And it helps drive people back to easy branding. And again, going back to that concept of this this funnel, we say to get the header, you have to opt into easy branding, and then within easy branding, you'll get a new template each issue. And so people go, okay, yeah, that's even more free stuff. Sure, I'll opt into that. So it just kind of goes back to what I was saying here. So that is the full breakdown of how to earn trust, how specifically focusing on the Jorge episode, how he can better earn trust with his audience by focusing on the core concept here, this core why concept, which for him is democratizing quality brand design. And to do that, he needs to be focused on his story. I love the element of how he was consistently publishing content, these quality pieces of content for a separate product that he was building. But people were like, whoa, wait, how are you doing this? How are you creating these quality pieces of content? And found, oh, wait, there's this other strong need in the market. Let me focus over here. And I have the solution for that because I have my product design background. And I'm just going to apply that product design background to personal brand design, visual brand identity. And I'm going to help this hungry, thirsty market that desires having the types of designs that I can build, and I have the tools and assets to be able to do that. And that's even more solidified when they got the number one product on Product Hunt, right? So I'm bought in. This person has what I need. I have this desire. They build a tool. They are a service that can help me accomplish this. What do you got for me, right? What convert? What do you got that I can, how much is easy branding? Do I want to create an account just yet? If you're on the fence, here's a first step as to what you can do, which is their funnel. And, it could be this, create a LinkedIn header for free, easy way to demo the product, opts into the newsletter, etc. But this is your first step. Now, we need to not just gain leads, but we need to gain customers and clients. So how do we convert that into ready to buy new clients? And again, the way to do that through the funnel can be after they opt into the free header image, they're kicked over to this page that asks them to watch a video, explore more, see how they can grow their brand even further through some of these other things to consider. And then, hey, if this is of interest to you, let's hop on a call. Or hey, if this is interest to you, start a free trial of Easy Branding today and amplify your personal brand even further. etc. You're just leading them on. You're not forcing them to do anything. You're just showing them that there's more behind the curtain than just the free thing that you provided them. And then, from there, we are nurturing them through email and through other forms of content. So he might show up on another one of their one of the podcast shows that these people are frequenting, and oh wait, I just saw him on this one podcast. Now I'm seeing him here, or I saw him on LinkedIn, and now I'm seeing him as a guest on this podcast that I watch. Growing credibility, understanding more about his story, etc. And then, oh, by the way, in email newsletter, here's a free template, but also here's why I'm providing this template. Here is a full breakdown of the trending design and how to use this trending design to help grow your personal brand. YouTube video, demonstrative YouTube video. In the email, I might say, use this design to go from ugly looking content to professional looking content. Here's an example of what that looks like with a brand makeover, et cetera, right? These are long form video content, time on content. People are consuming like you're doing right now, and understanding your philosophies and skill sets and credibilities. From there, you can lead them to your lead magnets, your book a call page, things like that. Lastly is social. And with social too, I didn't even mention that, yes, you can create these original pieces of content, but Jorge can also use clips from the guest podcast we had together, the stories that he told, the methods that he told, the credibilities, these moments here where he talks about this element. This could be a social clip. This could be a social clip. This could be a social clip, right? Take these parts out from the episode, make that part of a new LinkedIn post. That could be part of your newsletter. So by crafting these things ahead of time and making sure that we work them into our long form content, we can then what's called content repurposing. So we're taking this long form pieces of content and we're finding the 3 second, or I'm sorry, 3 seconds, the 30 to 60-second parts of the long form content that truly demonstrated who we are, what we do, and why we're credible. And then we're pulling that out into, this is supposed to be a reel. I'm going to work on my design skills. And we're creating reels from that. And we're creating other forms of content from that. So content repurposing these long form pieces of content as well. So that is scroll all the way up. That is, in essence, how to build a personal brand and how to promote it and what the can I write on this? Let's see. Yep. Okay. What the personal brand blueprint is in a nutshell. So if this was of interest to you, one key next step is reach out to me. Go to davepolikoff.com, link to it in the show notes below, where you can book a time with me to learn more about what this process is, how can it apply to your business. Again, my ideal, someone who is perfect for the personal brand blueprint is a coach, consultant, agency owner, small business owner who launched their business in the last 3 to 5 years. They were working at another agency or company, and they honed their craft and service there. But the unfortunate truth is, when they went and launched their consultancy, their agency, etc., they were able to get the first couple clients quickly and easily, just based on the friends and relationships that they've already established. And those happy clients referred more happy clients. But over the years, they've become so reliant on referrals that they'd never actually created a a client acquisition system that was dependable and reliable. And so, since they had inconsistent new clients based on inconsistent referral systems, you're basically waiting by the phone to ring. They have inconsistent revenue in their business, which leads to fear and frustration that their business may go out of business or that they need to go back to a full-time gig somewhere else. And so what I help them do is create that dependable, reliable, proven new client acquisition system, which I call the personal brand blueprint, which is what we walk through today. So if that sounds like you or someone that you know of, let's connect. Go to davepolikoff.com to book a call with me there. Lastly, this is a system, or this is a type of video that I'm going to be producing or creating for every interview moving forward. So, if you want to learn more about how to apply the personal brand blueprint or how to grow your personal brand, make sure to subscribe to the Personal Brand Blueprint podcast, which is this either YouTube channel, or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow it there. We have great guests on that are skilled in branding, marketing, email marketing, copywriting, public speaking, everything that you'll need to grow your small business or your personal brand online. And then that comes out every Tuesday. Every Thursday, I will be taking that episode and breaking it down, like you saw here today, about how that person can grow their personal brand using the Personal Brand Blueprint framework. So definitely subscribe if that's of interest to you, and leave some comments below for any questions you might have about this episode. So great, and see you on the next episode of Personal Brand Blueprint.